So in this game, I was using Masha in the gold lane, and the enemies were acting like cancer. They had 2 marksmen and no jungler, and they were trash-talking each other in all chat. They're toxic and dark system. But my teammates are also dark system here because look at Franco. I'm up against 3 enemies in my lane, and he's just camping in the bush near the enemy's purple buff, even though they don't even have a jungler. Then he's going to build Sky Piercer and Berserker's Fury on top of that. The 2 dark system players were fighting each other, blaming one another even though they're both idiots. But you know what? It's not as easy a game as you'd expect, because 3 of my teammates are also part of the dark system, especially that Franco. But of course, I'll never let myself lose against Layla and Hanabi at the same time. I'm always fired up when I'm against them. So it's a gold lane fighter versus a 2 marksman team here. It's even funnier because Layla said Hanabi should just quit playing ML so all the toxic players would be gone. But she herself is toxic. Both of them are. The nerve of her to even say something like that. We're still losing even though the enemy team doesn't have a jungler, and our jungler is supposedly a top global. It's hilarious. This should have been an easy game, and if I didn't start taking it seriously, we would have definitely lost. Whenever I see Layla or Hanabi, I just see them as food, and I immediately pounce on them even if they're under their turret. The only one I let kill me here is Lolita, so that Layla gets as little gold as possible. My 3 top global teammates are all together here, and Edith's combo is just insanely good. Layla is always alone, so she's the one I keep targeting, but I actually want to get both her and Hanabi at the same time. The problem is they play it safe and are always sticking with their teammates. I'm still focusing on pushing here, and I'm really trying to scare the enemy into defending in situations like this so they can't get close. Because if you don't do that, they'll clear the minions and you won't be able to push. If you're using a fighter and you've got the lead in items or hero advantage, it's a good strategy to do that. If I were using a marksman in this game, we probably would have lost, because even in the early game, I'd already get bullied in lane. Imagine going up against 3 enemies, and then their mid lane comes to help them too. The turret would have been pushed down right away if that were the case. If I get the opportunity to turret lock, I'll do it, because that should be the priority. But of course, if the enemy is alone and you can burst them down, then go for it. These 3 teammates of mine are hilarious. Good thing Leomord is at least somewhat decent. Here, Layla's prediction was insane. She predicted I was going to flicker in, so she cast her second skill in advance and actually stunned me. But in the end, she still died, and I even took down the turret with her. But Hanabi was too strong that she killed me in an instant. After I got a triple kill, it didn't take long before the game ended. And just look at Franco's build. I've never seen anything like this. Is this the new meta? But anyway, since you missed me using Masha, here's another game. I'm in the gold lane again, and this time I'm up against Wan Wan, which one of the strongest marksmen right now, even though she hasn't been getting buffs. In fact, she's only been receiving nerfs. Isn't that weird? Baratz was so tanky here that we couldn't kill him, but I think Harley might be a cheater. Right after returning to his hat, he suddenly recalled back to base instantly. There are only a few fighters who can go toe-to-toe with Wan Wan in a 1v1. Heroes without mobility or a charge skill really have it rough against her. But Masha is definitely one of the best counters to Wan Wan. Even pro players use Masha for that. Because if Masha loses an HP bar, she removes all debuffs and crowd control, it's similar to using Purify. So Wan Wan's stacks will also disappear unless she already has full stacks before your HP bar drops, in which case she can still use her ultimate. Like in this case, Wan Wan had full stacks on me, so she was able to use her ultimate even though I lost an HP bar. Well, I think it's the same for other Purify-like skills or even Purify itself. If Wan Wan already has full stacks, you can't remove them. I'm not sure if Wan Wan is an auto-ban when you play ranked, but in my games, she's always an auto-ban. Still, don't be afraid of her if you're using Masha, because Masha can handle her just fine. Of course, you still need to have mastery over Masha. And naturally, there will be times when Wan Wan gains the advantage if she manages to use her ultimate. But you can counter that by building Winter Crown, and 8 out of 10 times, Masha will win. I even feel like I'm being nice with that, but in team fights, Wan Wan is really strong, and that's why she's an auto-ban, because if you don't counter her, she's insanely powerful. And it's not enough to have just one hero as a counter to her, but it's still really weird. Imagine Wan Wan is Moonton's favorite hero to nerf, yet she doesn't get buffs, and she's still one of the strongest. Victory! So in the next game, I used Arlot this time. Guys, if you haven't tried using Arlot yet, you should, especially if he's not banned in your server. This hero is super OP right now no matter what build you use. But of course, if you're a solo player and confident in yourself, go for a damage build. Last time I used him in the mid lane, and this time I went gold lane. And whoever faces him in the gold lane is going to have a rough time, especially if they don't get ganked. In a 5-man team, the sustain build is stronger because Arlot is such a powerful initiator. If your teammates are good at following up, the enemies are really going to suffer. But I don't expect that in a solo rank game, so it's better to use a damage build. Use Petrify to trigger your passive. Some players use Flame Shot since it has a shorter cooldown, but I still prefer Petrify because it can cancel certain skills unlike Flame Shot. Plus, the enemy can't move at all. Most of the time, marksmen won't even be able to activate Wind of Nature. And there are so many other factors why I prefer Petrify. Arlot is really the complete package right now, and he's so satisfying to use. He barely has any weaknesses, only yourself. Like if you mess up the dash on your second skill. If you want to use him, you have to maximize his skills, especially his passive. There's a lot you can do. Like if your passive marks an enemy, don't rush in immediately. Wait around 4 or 5 seconds so your passive is almost off cooldown again, which will let you use your second skill right away. Harith suddenly got strong here. I thought he didn't know how to play, but he was just waiting for his power spike. That's the risky part when you use him in the gold lane. Yes, he's strong, but his item scaling isn't that high. Unlike heroes like Hanabi, who are weak in the early game, but, well, still weak in the late game. No, I mean heroes like Harith and Leslie are really for the late game. Here's another one, Ruby Gold Lane. This has been requested for a while, but I rarely end up in the gold lane, so I can't really use her there. But I think Ruby is actually meta in the gold lane. I don't know if you've been watching MSC, but Ruby might be the only fighter that's been used in the gold lane, and it actually worked fine. So it's not forced or a dark system pick when Ruby is used in the gold lane. In fact, she really is meta. You just don't see it often because people are so used to putting marksmen in the gold lane. But if the marksman is just Hanabi, Layla, or Maya, forget it. But alright, if this video reaches 5,000 likes, I'll use those heroes. Sounds impossible, right? That's how much I hate those heroes. But let's see how badly you want me to use them, and I promise you, if this video hits 5K likes, I'll do it. What I like about Gold Lane Ruby is that she's harder to burst down than almost anyone. Like, when the enemy jungler comes to gank, you don't really get that scared because of her spell vamp. And if you're the jungler, you'd even think twice about rotating to the gold lane first, because it's Ruby. and her sustain is just too much. Look, the enemy is really struggling to burst me down. Even if they throw all their skills at me, they still can't kill me. Ruby is super strong right now, but she doesn't get banned. Well, there are just so many heroes that deserve to be banned at the moment. But if you want a hero to one-trick, Ruby is one of the best choices because she can go in different lanes, EXP, Gold, or Roam. And it's not forced on her. Those roles really fit her.